Hey everyone, I hope I'm audible and visible. Can you guys see me? Can you guys hear me? A very warm welcome to the session. I'm Shweta Sharma, and today we have another set of Parajumble questions. I hope I'm audible and visible, guys. Can you please confirm once quickly? Just waiting for some of you to join, then we start. Okay, perfect, guys. So last time we did a few Parajumble questions. Let's quickly go ahead with the same, what we were discussing last time. Here we have five sentences for you, and I do have a few options. Like some of the questions would be having options, some of the questions would not be. I'm going to give you 20 seconds to quickly run through the questions, the statements given here. Try to figure out your own sequence, then maybe match with the options given here. Okay, to run you through this particular one, let's quickly go through it together. It says, in simple terms, it is the Indian version of Razzies. The third Golden Kela Awards will be hosted by Cyrus Brocua this year. It was created in order to ridicule the bad performances and as a revenge for wasting our precious time and money on such idiotic films. The Golden Kela is held each year where awards are given for the year's worst in Bollywood. It was created by Random Magazine, India's longest running humor magazine in the year 2009. Sorry. So we have a lot of pronouns being used, right? Try to figure out the antecedent for any pronoun which is given to you so that you can club the sentences. Get the pairs, right? It is the Indian version of Razi. So maybe it's referring to that fest or that magazine, whatever, right? Or maybe that awards, that award ceremony. And then it says third Golden Kerala Awards will be hosted. So it's referring to future tense here. It was created in order to ridicule the bad performance. Is held each year where awards are given for years worst in Bollywood. So maybe D could be the opening sentence. This is just a heads up. Please have a look at your sentences like on your own first, and then maybe we can figure out the correct sequence. Okay. Second one, Shubham. All right. Okay. All right. So, guys, if you look at the statements, of course, B also kind of introduces the antecedent for the awards, function or ceremony or that particular event. You know, it is Indian version of Razzies. What is that Indian version of Razzies? Third Golden Kela Awards will be hosted by Cyrus Brocua this year. So this could be either towards the beginning or towards the end somewhere, right? Because it's referring to will. It was created in order to what was created. So again, the question comes, what are we referring to? Golden Kela is held each year where awards are given for the year's worst in Bollywood. So D, if you look at this, introduces the idea of Golden Kela. Why was Golden Kela introduced at the first point? At the first place, it was just to ridicule the year's worst actress or year's worst, you know, movie or any short film, whatever. It's basically to introduce the year's worst in Bollywood, right? So D could be the opening one here. In simple terms, it is the Indian version of Razzies, right? So Razzies might be the Hollywood we are referring to, and uska jo Indian version hoga, that is what we have as Golden Kela. So D ke baad A comes next. And then it says it was created by Random Magazine, India's longest running humor magazine in the year 2009. So why was it done? We're still trying to give the reason, still trying to set the concept, like why was it introduced at the first place. So we have D, A, and then E. And then comes C. It was created in order to ridicule the bad performances as a revenge for wasting our precious time, money on such idiotic films. Absolutely. There should be such events all the more. And then if we talk about B, which says will be hosted by Cyrus Brokaw this year. Right? So this talks about whosoever is gonna host it this year. Right? So will be is more of a future tense, so it comes at the end. So DAECB. Now, since you guys also opted for second option, I'll just show you why it's not correct. If I start with B, this will be hosted by Cyrus Brokaw this year. I don't care about who's going to host it. Right? I need to know first what is it, what is being hosted. Right? So I need to set the definition in place first. Golden Kela Awards क्या है, क्यों होता है, पहले आप ये बताओगे. Right? So this is introduced in D, and then followed by AE and CB. Right? So B, talking about future one, I would not keep it in at the like first place. Second, A says in simple terms, it is the Indian version of Razzies. What is it? You haven't, defined it first for me. I can't go for second option anyway. Answer has to be A for this. That's the first option, DACB. Is everybody good with the question, guys? Sorish also went for second. Don't be influenced by the other answers in the chat box, guys. Please focus on what you want to pick. Okay? Why we went for A? Because it goes by the sequence of events. Always past, present, future. So, कोई भी future वाला sentence दिखता है, please push it towards the end. ठीक है? Always keep the first bonds first. मतलब past की कोई बात है तो उसको पहले रखेंगे. Then you talk about what the context was set, why was it created. If it's talking about any history, any monument or any event, why was it placed at the first place. You describe that, you define that, then you move ahead. आगे क्या होने वाला है. So that's future. Okay. Next question. Please have a look at this one. Maybe you can pick this first. So whenever you have, things being introduced in terms of numbers, first this, second this, that helps you to figure out the correct sequence. At least the pairs first. Hi Amir, good to see you here. Sorry. Are you guys writing your mocks? I hope you're not mocking yourself amongst the mocks. And you're analyzing them well. Okay. All right. Don't be in a hurry to just drop in your answers. Try to see, have you placed the sentences at the right place? Huh. Option 3, option 4. Okay. Last 1 minute, guys, then we discuss the question. If you guys feel, or if you guys are still stuck in your, concepts on critical reasoning, or maybe reading comprehension, we can also discuss that another 5-10 minutes sometime. Because theta is one section, but apart from it, all the objective section is really, really important. And I hope you guys are focusing on that too, equally. Okay, let's discuss. So these were mainly bulwarks against winter. Something to prevent you from that against winter. Hoarded dregs of more plentiful seasons. Okay. First were the earliest mince pies, which saw cooked shredded meat, dried fruits, alcohol with its preservative qualities, and perhaps a few spices of herbs, all encased in large pies. Okay. Subsequently, people bake this into a kind of a pie, adding breadcrumbs for bulk eggs to bind it, and upping the dried fruits and call it plum pudding. Okay, so it's defining what is plum pudding here. The pudding seems to have two principal forerunners. The first were the earliest mince pies, second main pudding was this. Very good. So you got the sequence. Pudding seems to have two principal forerunners. First was this, right? And second main pudding was this. So DB and E somewhere, but D may not be the right one after this. So we may have something in between, right? So okay, it says pudding seems to have two principal forerunners. First one were the earliest mince pies, which saw cooked shredded meat, dried fruits, alcohol with its preservative. This is this. And then you define a little more. You define a little more, right? Where would you define it? Whatever the first is, these are bulwarks against winter. We're talking about mince pies. These were bulwarks against winter. So it could be A here, right? And then you have the second main pudding was a pottage of soup called frumentary, a fast dish involving cracked wheat, currants, and almonds, which was laded out of the start of a meal. So it has to be E later on. And then you have subsequently people bake this into a kind of a pie. So it's still referring to E itself in C. Right? Eventually, what happens? Subsequently is at the end, or subsequently, eventually, people bake this into a pie, adding breadcrumbs of bulk eggs to bind it, and upping it with dry fruits. So topping up with dry fruits. That's what they call as plum pudding. So fourth is the correct option. If I look at third, in case you were confused with third, guys, I'm also going to focus on that. Pudding seems to have two principal forerunners. So I haven't introduced which pudding am I referring to here. If I go by D, okay, but okay. और कोई sentence इतना अच्छा लग नहीं रहा है, तो let's start with D. Then you have A, as you said. These were, so you're just referring to one pudding or principal forerunners. If I go by principal forerunners, these are main bulwarks against winter, the hoarded dregs of more plentiful seasons. Okay. And if I look at B first. First were the earliest mince pies. The mince pies, which was cooked, shredded with meat. Okay. All right. If you look at 3 and 4, third is the most appropriate. Kushak, we'll just come back to that. आमिर के question पे भी आते हैं. ठीक है. RC वाला part we'll just discuss it. Just give me a few seconds. Let's quickly wrap this question up. Then we can discuss RC in depth. Okay. So if I start with D, pudding seems to have two principal forerunners. And then if I go with A, which says these are mainly bulwarks against winter. So these principal forerunners may be against winter. They'll be, like the best dishes of winter, hoarded dregs of more plentiful season. Then I go with C. Subsequently, people bake this into a kind of pie. See, here the entire sequence is broken. What am I referring to? What is a kind of a pie? Adding breadcrumbs for bulk, calling it plum pudding. Okay, what is this plum pudding? And then I say the first were the earliest mince pies. This. Okay. No, you're in fact adding E to it. Second main pudding. C के बाद E तो आएगा नहीं. या तो आप इसमें भी B पहले रखोगे. है ना? You could have kept B first and then E. That would have made sense. So third is anyway not falling in sequence anyway. Like it's just not. Right? D first introduces pudding seems to have two principal forerunners. Takes the idea a little more, extends it in B. The first were the earliest mince pies, and then talks about what mince pies is basically. So it is mainly bulwarks against winter, hoarded dregs of more plentiful seasons. And further says E, that is second main pudding was a pottage of soup called frumentary. And last of all says subsequently, people bake this into a kind of pie. So correct sequence has to be option number 4. Third में आपको काफी breakage दिख जाएगा बीच में. So you're not going through the sequence, in option number 3. How is answer 4? अभी तो दिखाया है. सेकेंड ऑप्शन भी लग रहा है. कुशाग्र, are we good with why option 3 is not the correct answer? अभी 3 देखा हमने. सी के बाद आपको राइट अवे या तो बी चाहिए, ई तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं आएगा, है ना. People bake this into something and then you got to talk about the other one, but you're not talking about the other one, you're simply going by E there, the second one. You should introduce the first and then the second. First तो इंट्रोड्यूस ही नहीं हुआ उसमें, फर्स्ट आप लास्ट में दे रहे हो. हाँ, मतलब कंफ्यूजन वाला क्वेश्चन भी. इट्स अ मीडियम लेवल क्वेश्चन. आई वोंट गो फॉर अ हार्ड वन, फॉर दिस वन. इट्स नॉट अ हार्ड क्वेश्चन. इट्स लाइक समवेयर 5.56 आउट ऑफ 10. ओके, सो आरसीज डिस्कस करना है. आरसीज हम लोग, maybe we can have another session on RC on Sunday. Like we'll have some questions on Parajumbles and maybe a bit of RC portion, which we can pick up, with a part of your para summary question itself. We'll try to discuss some crux questions there itself. I was confused why we placed A before E. I had DBAE, DB what? DBEAC. DBEAC. नहीं, बट अगर आप देख रहे हो इसमें A is basically an extension of B. B में उसने क्या बताया है? फर्स्ट वाली पुडिंग के बारे में बताया. तो फर्स्ट वाली पुडिंग को ही उसने बताया कि दिस इज लाइक मोर लाइक अ बुलवर्क अगेंस्ट विंटर. The most had dish of a particular season. That's for B. That's an extension of B. So we can't go for sentence number E right after A. ठीक है, धैर्य, are we good with this? मॉक्स में से उठाना है यार. I don't have questions from mocks. I'll have to maybe get those mocks handy because I don't have mocks right now with me. I'll try to fetch some questions. Maybe I can do that. I can maybe ask them. If I get those RC questions, yes, we can definitely take that up together. Improve my VA. Amir, one thing is, so there are 3 ways, I mean 3 steps basically, not the ways, but 3 steps to solving your VA questions. One, you work on your fundamentals. सबसे पहले अपने fundamentals को brush करो, concepts को brush करो. You have parajumble, you have para summary, you have odd man out. 3 set of questions immediately. ठीक है, इन तीनों के कॉन्सेप्ट्स को पहले ब्रश करो. कॉन्सेप्ट्स मतलब जो फंडामेंटल्स है इसके, जो बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग है कि ये पैराजम्बल को क्वेश्चन कैसे अटेम्प्ट करना है, पैरा समरी आएगा तो ऑड मैन आएगा तो ऑल ऑफ दिस इज इंटरकनेक्टेड, राइट. So don't time yourself when you practice it for the first time, first few weeks. Just try to get the accuracy. एक बार accuracy आ जाएगा, work on basic level questions, medium level questions, and the toughest level of questions, right? We're doing it together every time. So you can maybe stay connected with me here or also on your practice, when you practice on your own. Keep yourself level wise कि पहले basic questions practice करो, फिर थोड़ा सा medium level, फिर थोड़ा सा और tough, और सबसे पहले अपने concepts पे, fundamentals पे work करो. ठीक है, don't time yourself. After 2 weeks at least, when you've regularly practiced every day 15 to 20 questions of each type, उसके बाद you start timing yourself. उसके बाद आप sectional test pick कर सकते हो, where you have timer for everything. And then maybe slowly and gradually you can also try some questions from your mocks. ठीक है, but go by a strategy. Don't just jump into different set of questions. Don't just hit on yourself कि यार marks नहीं आ रहे, या फिर time management नहीं हो पा रहा है. Your priority should be accuracy, then your time management. Time management of course is important, but before that you need to understand what you're doing. तो concept समझ आना important है. Reading speed is slow. I attempt mostly 2, set in best 3. Okay, so Ventro, I would recommend, please guys, when you wake up in the morning, keep yourself for at least 30 minutes. You're going to read anything का मतलब है something worthy. It should be either The Hindu, Aeon, maybe Wall Street Journal, Times of India editorials, whatever level suits you. It's just a quick hack I'm telling you, that for 30 minutes you've got to read something really, really worthy for you, right? If you find philosophy is boring for you, please read philosophy every day. If you don't like psychology, if you're not very used to sociology, business articles, push yourselves to read that more, right? And when you're reading, please time yourself, because that's not when you're working on any concept. You're just training your mind, and your mind is like your body, right? It's like gymming every day. So you've got to spend time every day, 30 minutes on reading. Slowly and gradually, you'll see that how speed enhances from maybe 500 to 700 to 1000 words in a span of half an hour, probably, maybe less. Okay, so I think speed reading is one technique you can practice, but only after you've actually been through a good number of books, good number of articles, online, offline, howsoever you read. But yes, you got to time yourself at least 30 minutes of read every day. Try that maybe after 15 days of this practice of 30 minutes of read every day, you are able to complete a book of say 400 pages within 30 minutes. That is what you should be targeting, right? Or maybe 40 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever time suits you. Slowly and gradually, you can pick that speed. But try to do that. Try to skim and scan. You don't have to read everything. You should know where to focus more, what to skip. If in any RC, if there's an example being quoted, so what is quoted in the example is not so important. But why is that example being quoted is rather more important, right? तो आपको ये पता होना चाहिए कि वो चीज़ क्यों given है. The significance of that particular thing is important rather than what is being stated there. So make yourself that you're, pushing yourself really hard for it. By pushing, I mean maintaining discipline. Any book suggestion. To start with, you can pick anything from George Orwell, 1984. Um, Pick Animal Farm or something interesting. You can pick some poems, you know, pick something from Shakespeare or D.H. Lawrence है, J.K. Rowling भी pick कर सकते हो. I mean, it all depends on what your interest is. This is all fictional stuff though. To start early, I would say pick some articles. Aeon पढ़ सकते हो, जैसे AUN है, the Japanese source, you can pick that. Finshots पढ़ सकते हो for business news or for business articles. Ken, if you can read, Ken is really good, but you got to be reading it regularly again with a subscription. The Hindu के articles तो रोज ही पढ़ना है. That's something we can't skip. ठीक है. And apart from this, if you want to read something more, maybe you can start with some Western philosophy, Bertrand Russell, because philosophy is also one thing we don't really like to read all together in one go. So उसका भी taste धीरे धीरे develop होता है, right? Read something from Immanuel Kant, Aristotle or Plato, or René Descartes. Some articles, you find on these. Books भी पढ़ सकते हो, but after a while, pick something on these lines first. Can we get back to Parajumbles now? Let's try two more questions very quickly. Then we'll come back to chit chat. Okay, let's try this question. Very important from conjunctions perspective. However, so it's a tone changer, right? Their new publication. So whose new publication am I referring to? It unfolds the two sections. Simple question, not very tough. Please have a look at it. Let me know once done. Then we discuss it. Okay. So, Saleh Ahmed, there are 5 sentences. Try to pick that one which you've not picked. Sentence number 5 is something you've not fixed anywhere. Oh, sorry. I think I missed one of the sentences. Yes, I think. Okay, let's do it without options then. Let's do it without options. Yeah, I got that solved. Let me know if you guys are done. Can we discuss it now? Yes, Maria. 4 sentences and no options. That's how the question is. Okay, let's try it. Okay. Environmental Education Unit of Center for Science and Environment has always been working towards providing easy to understanding reading material. All right. The new publication of the subject is an attempt to lend teachers a helping hand. It unfolds 2 sections: climate change, this, and natural resources, how to share and care. Okay, ये 2 sections हो गए. One is this and second is this. However, they are introduced to students not as a paragraph to memorize, but as an activity to do. They must have been the 5th sentence that talks about how is it done. ठीक है, वो 5th sentence नहीं है यहाँ पे. तो again, अगर हमें start करना है, तो character is given the first sentence itself. What did I do? ठीक है, so start करने के लिए we have Environmental Education Unit of Center for Science always been working towards providing understanding reading material. मतलब अच्छा बढ़िया reading material बनाने की कोशिश करता है हमेशा Environment Education Unit of Center. ठीक है, then it unfolds to section. What unfolds to section? Publication, right? So their new publication on the subject is an attempt. So this publication, the new publication they're talking about, unfolds 2 sections. One is climate change and the second is natural resources. However, they're introduced to students not as a paragraph to memorize, but as an activity to do. So A, B, C, D, it's a very smooth question to sail through. A, B, C, D, we give a sequence. हाँ, और E में क्या आ सकता है? Let's think, let's predict. That's a good way of looking at the question again. If I ask you to tell me if there's a sentence which should follow, what should it talk about? What can we expect in E? Natural resources is not E. That's a part of the sentence which is given. Okay, but if I ask you what should follow the sentence, what would it talk about? Activity to do, right? E should actually talk about 1, climate change ke upar, and maybe F, there's another sentence that should talk about natural resources, and of course how the activities are performed. ठीक है, नेक्स्ट जो सेंटेंस होगा उसमें तीनों चीजों का जिक्र होना चाहिए. तो क्लाइमेट चेंज से कैसे इंपैक्ट पड़ेगा, नेक्स्ट थिंग इज नेचुरल रिसोर्स, एंड देन व्हाट एंड हाउ द एक्टिविटीज आर performed. That will help us to understand, how the sequence of events follows here. The Environmental Education Unit of Center for Science and Environment, how its new publication is based on 2 things, which is attempt to lend teachers a helping hand, like, not just for the teachers to teach, but also for the students to practice and understand. So that's another way of practicing the same activity. Okay, last question, but I think we are almost done with it. If you want to try, I would have wanted you to try this. You can take this question as a homework. Okay? We'll discuss it in the next class. Just take it as a homework. It's a little tricky. We meet next on the coming Sunday, post the Shara. Right? So make sure that all of you attend. All of you also attempt some parajumble question which you might be attempting from, whatever the source you are attempting from. And if you have any questions which you're not able to attempt, you have doubts in, please post them in the chat box. We can discuss them here in class. One thing. Another thing, please make a checkbox for all of you, a table where you keep Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday for the entire week. 1 to 2 subjects you're following. Subjects matlab quants or English to kar hi sakte, of course, quants and verbal. But apart from that, when we talk about English, when we talk about verbal, what all topics are we reading? Philosophy, psychology, philosophy, classical literature. Okay. business and maybe something easy. Maybe just you want to pick any book you want to read from literature itself. You can maybe bind it with business, right? So is tarah se you have a checkbox. Like, I'll tell you what I want you to do is, so just make a table for yourself, right? Make a table for yourself. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. ठीक है? And I told you these sources कि एक दिन अपन एऑन पढ़ेंगे, एक दिन हम लोग सपोज फिन शॉर्ट्स पढ़ रहे हैं, ठीक है? Then one day I asked you to read something from business, say Financial Express. ठीक है? Then I asked you to read the Hindu article. So just keep a check, a tick in front of whatever you want to do for that particular week. ठीक है? Suppose एऑन मेरे को पढ़ना है मंडे, वेडनेसडे, फ्राइडे एंड संडे, ठीक है? देन फिन शॉर्ट्स मे बी ऑन ट्यूसडे एंड संडे और सैटरडे, ठीक है? 2 of the days I'm just picking up fin shorts. Then Financial Express is the business news again, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. Depending on how much do you want to read that, or how much are you comfortable with that topic, accordingly you can align your days. But please pick at least 2 to 3 sources and across the week. This will help you to work on your speed for sure. Yeah, a timetable with a checkbox. Try to stick it in your in your bedroom or where your study table is, and just keep a tick and a cross. The day you miss it, do mention a cross there. Okay, so that you know where you're stuck, what you've not done so far. All right, so let's meet on Sunday now. Thank you so very much, guys, for joining in. Have a great night and keep studying, keep practicing. Thank you so much. See you soon. Good night.